Hello, welcome to the Vertical Drop Viking. I'm Josef. Happy New Year. I hope you had a good holiday. I hope that you got to spend it with family or friends or whoever's most important to you. Pets, any sort of loved ones. Today's video is a little different than the rest of mine. It's not explicitly about roller coasters, although we will get to roller coasters eventually in due time, I promise. I will be yapping about them in this video, but this isn't about anything in particular. I don't have a script. I just want to talk to you about what's next for the channel for this year, coming up for 2026. I want to talk about my plans for the year. I want to talk a little bit about myself. If you're here for regular content, please don't run away, but this might not be the video. This video is just going to be sort of me yapping about me, about 2026, about my cat here. Let me show you her. She's just right by the light. It's warm, I guess. She loves that. So, 2025 was a great year for riding roller coasters. I made it to Michigan's Adventure once and Cedar Point 3 times. And I'm looking forward to riding plenty more roller coasters in 2026. I'm hoping to make it to Cedar Point on a weekday after it opens. Cedar Point will be opening May 9th, and that's every day. Typically, Cedar Point opens up for the weekends at the beginning, and then opens up every day after school lets out, but it's going to be every day, right off the rip. I'm hoping to make it to a weekday, maybe a Thursday, so I can hope for some more park operations than the bare bones one that they had for closing day. Again, I don't blame them for that at all. When half your staff has already gone to school, you have to close half the rides. It's the way it goes. I'm hoping that the opening this spring is smoother than the closing last fall. They'll have a whole winter to get it sorted out, fingers crossed. I'm also hoping to make it to Michigan's Adventure for opening day. It's Friday, May 22nd. I'm going to try and actually make it to that actual opening day. I don't think it'll be too busy. The locals might choke me out, but... So we've got Cedar Point, we've got Michigan's Adventure, gotta get back on Shivering Timbers. And then I'm hoping me, my son, and my dad are trying to figure out getting to Gurnee, Illinois to get to Six Flags Great America. It's still up in the air. My dad has a lot of other travel plans. He's half retired, half not retired, so he's got this snowbird life going on, and I don't blame him. If I didn't have to work, if I didn't have to be in Flint, I probably wouldn't be in Flint. But sort of the bigger news. So my mother lives in Southwest Wyoming. She's going to be coming to visit back to Michigan in July. So in July, at the end of July, this year in 2026, at the end of July this year, at the end of July 2026, July 20th, it'll be 2 years since since the last time I got drunk. I used to drink a lot. I was kind of good at it, and being good at it has its ups and downs. And the down of being good at it is that you can do it for a long time if you don't ever get yourself in real trouble. Like if you're not driving around drunk and you're not getting into fights, if you're a friendly drunk and you're not causing trouble for yourself, then nothing's going to stop you until something serious does. And the last time I got drunk in July of 2024, I had a couple of drinks at work, and I was going to leave, and there was like two couples standing by the door when I went to leave. Older couple in their 40s or 50s. And I asked them, "Are you trying to get an Uber?" And they said yes. Uber's real sparse in Flint, to put it lightly. If you get an Uber at night in Flint, you're a very fortunate person. It's a crapshoot whether or not there's anybody doing that. I asked them, "Are you waiting for an Uber?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can't get one." And I said, "Where are you going?" And they said, "Well, we're trying to get to the hotel downtown." And I said, "Well, as luck would have it, I work next door to there too. That's my other job." At the time, I also worked at the bar next door to this hotel downtown. And so there, I said, "If you give me $20, I'll drop you off at the hotel and then I'll go home." And they said, "That's perfect." On the way there, they said, "Tell us about this bar you work at." And I tell them about it. And they're like, "Well, take us there instead." So naturally, I drive them there. You know, it's same distance, it's next door. And I went in with them. They taught me into going in with them. So they bought me a beer and a shot, and the bartender who I work with every day and good friends with, he bought me a beer and a shot, and I already had a beer and a shot at the first job, after the shift, and after that, before I even felt any of it, I left. I went home, and I just lived 6 blocks away, and sat down on the couch, and I said, "All right, you made it home safe." And then I blacked out. And the next thing I remember, I woke up and I was covered in my own blood, head to toe, and my roommate and a friend of ours were standing behind me asking me questions, but I was just starting to understand English again, and I didn't know where I was. I mean, I kind of like I knew I was in my kitchen all of a sudden, but I didn't know how. I was in athletic shorts and nothing else, and I was just covered in blood. And I looked at my arm. I basically, to keep it from getting too gory, like I saw parts of my arm outside of my skin that probably shouldn't have been. I I long story short, I impaled myself. There was a decoration out front, this cool looking decoration, sort of. I can, if I find a picture of it, I'll put it up. But if I don't find a picture of it, or if you're listening to this and not watching, picture like the top of a cemetery gate. This was a candle that was shaped like that. It was made of metal and it was out front of the yard. It looked very cool. So it had crosses coming up like this and spikes coming up like that, and it was around the candle. I ended up going to the hospital in due course. Probably not as soon as I should have, but I went to the hospital like early the next morning, and I was in the hospital for 3 days, and you know, ended up going. I had to go to the doctor after I was released and everything, and I was lucky. I was very lucky. Like I didn't permanently damage the bone. I didn't permanently damage any nerves. I can still do things with my hand. I can still pet the cat. Um, I nicked the artery, but I didn't sever it, or it was just a very light nick to the artery. So what I did is I fell on the spike. I fell on the top of it, and the cross, this part of the cross, the horizontal part of the cross, hit my wrist, and the spike hit me right here. I don't know if you can see it, and it came out all the way over there. But again, I don't remember it happening. So I guess what I did was I yanked it right back out, which is the first thing they tell you not to do. And I bled a bunch all over my front yard. And then I went inside, bled a bunch all over the breezeway. And then I went and stood over the sink and tried to staunch it up. I found a lint roller sheet covered in my blood by the sink, so I think I tried to stick it shut with that. That's how much I was thinking in my like. That's how much control of the machine that drunk Josef had, you know. And luckily, my roommate and our friend came when they did, and then I came to then. But who knows if I would have came to if they hadn't come and started talking to me. Like, who knows? There's a lot of variables. A lot of things could have been different, and I wouldn't be here. A lot of things. And so that was. I figured that if that wasn't my sign to that I can't drink, then the next one, if I'd missed my arm and hit my chest, then my roommate would have come home to the most grisly lawn ornament of all time. So the part of me that got drunk died in my front yard. And, I've mentioned before, I mentioned in my channel intro, which I deleted, and I probably need to make a new channel intro, but I mentioned in my channel intro that I've loved roller coasters since I was like 11 or 12 years old. Whenever that field trip was with my dad, where he got me on Blue Streak and Magnum, and lots of great rides, great memories from back then, long time ago now. But I went then, and and then Michigan's Adventure, and I went back a couple of times. I have very fond memories of a time when I went back when shortly before my eldest son was born, when the park was almost empty and everyone was in line for Maverick. So we waited for Maverick once, and then we marathon Top Thrill Dragster for over an hour until we couldn't dream of getting back on it. I have very fond memories of every time that I went, but pretty much from the time I was 17, 18 years old until July 20th of 2024, I think that deep down my first love was getting drunk. Like, I would drink a lot. I would at least drink a little every day, but if I didn't drink a little, I drank a lot. For a while, for kind of a long while after, the question sort of became, if you don't drink every day, what do you do? I messed up the light here. You have to deal with it. I, it'll, I'll fix it. I'll fix it in a minute. Um. So yeah, what do you do if you don't drink every day? Because drinking every day takes up, well, every day. Even if you do something else. So it took me a while to find it, but I went on a fourth trip to Cedar Point, and with my dad and my son, this one, and I I always loved it before, but I really, I was like, oh, I love this. I kept going back. I went back with friends, and I went back with my son, and in between going the first time and going back with my friends, I kept talking to my friends about it, and another friend of ours at work came around for the second time in X amount of time. I don't know how much time. And she said, "Are you still talking about roller coasters?" And later that night, I thought, well, maybe that's what I can do. If I don't drink, I talk about roller coasters. So I made this YouTube channel, and I guess I shouldn't have used an old email address that I've already had signed up for YouTube, but I did. And now it says I've been on YouTube for 5 years, but I've been on YouTube since October of 2025. Uh, I just had a YouTube channel that had no videos, and I watched, it was like YouTube Plus or whatever, like, so there's no ads. All right, I'll fix the light. So July 20th, my mom is well, end of July, not July 20th itself. End of July, my mom is leaving from Michigan and getting in her conversion van that she's been working on for the last couple of months already. And she's going to drive all the way back to Southwest Wyoming. Well, we kicked a plan together, and I'm going to ride back there with her. She's going to go past Southwest Wyoming. We're going to go all the way to Lagoon and outside of Salt Lake City. And I'm going to ride everything there. So the day that I come back from that is going to be July 20th. So to celebrate 2 years of not getting drunk and 2 years of my life being different, I'm going to be in Lagoon in Farmington, Utah. And so if any of you watching are also going to be there, feel free to come up and say hi to me. I'm big, but I don't bite. I'm gonna be trying to ride everything, everything that's not in the kid zone there, everything that I can fit on anyhow. Really looking forward to all the roller coasters. I'm really looking forward to that Samurai flat ride, to that what's that other flat ride? Enterprise flat ride. I think that's what they call it in Roller Coaster Tycoon, at least if it's not the real name. That new Scream and Swing. It's set to be open. If it's not open in time, then that's the way that the dice roll. But that new Scream and Swing is even taller than Skyhawk, and if I can get on that, I'm gonna get on it more than once. I guess it depends on the lines there. Lagoon is startlingly expensive. I'm gonna fly back on the 20th, and that's more money than I thought it was going to be for a one-way ticket. So I'm going to have to figure out the Lagoon pricing. I know they have all-day passports, but then if we have this van and we want to be there for 2 days, then we have to figure out what their campground costs, and then what they charge the people in their campground to get into the park. It's there's a lot up in the air there, but it's I'm not a rich person, but I'll work. I have a job, so I'm gonna make it work to celebrate 2 years of my life being improved, to my 2 years of my life being different. So yeah, I got to get the money squared away for that, and then after that, any money I can square away for. Like I can just walk into Cedar Point and Michigan's Adventure, so I just have to have gas and make sure if the car's burning oil, then the car's got oil. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it to Great America this year, just because of how it's a 5-hour drive. But if I get everything squared away, depends on how much money I make at work for the next several months, how much money I can not spend and squirrel away, and set aside for these things that are important to me, these events, and hopefully they're an investment in the channel. Hopefully I can get some good content that you guys want to watch out of these park trips. I'm in the middle of editing a video for this week coming up. I have couple other scripts written, so I guess the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks are taken care of, and besides that, I'll have to keep coming up with ideas of things that you guys might want to see, or things that I might want to yap about either way. If you've gotten this far into this video, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me just yap about nothing. As far as the future goes, as far as 2026 goes, obviously trip reports and coaster rankings and updates on the ride quality of everything at the three parks that I'm definitely going to make it to, and maybe the same for Great America if I play my cards right. Keep trying to release videos every week. Videos about roller coasters I like, videos about roller coasters I want to ride, videos about new parks, new park announcements. If I run out of stuff to do, I'll read roller coaster Reddit to you again. And, it's not my most popular video, but it did get a lot of comments, so it at least gets you guys talking, and that's one of the things I do this for, is that build a little community of people I can talk to about roller coasters here. So shout out to the few of you who I consider already on that level. I think you guys know who you are. Thanks again for watching. I don't know if you want to like this video. Don't tell YouTube that don't tell the algorithm that what you want is this guy letting the phone be his therapist. But I've been Josef. Vertical Drop Viking out.